Anyways, we're gonna move on. So we got a couple more things to talk about tonight, and this next segment I want to talk about is because it's Friday the 13th, right? So I was thinking about Friday the 13th. It's a different kind of show. We got to talk about horror movies, right? We have to talk about it because it's that day where it's a little spooky. We wonder, if you're superstitious a little bit, you say bad things happen today, or you just love horror movies and you just watch horror movies because it's Friday the 13th. So I raise this question out right now to my fellow hosts tonight. And that question is this: what is your favorite horror movie / TV show? Is there one that's your favorite? Is there something that stands out as a kid? Do you hate horror movies and so you don't watch them, but there's still one that you're like, hey, that's kind of fun. I have fun. Anybody in the comments, please tell us what's your favorite horror movie. And if you're not watching this live, leave some comments and maybe we'll do a little recap on this and talk about other people's favorite horror movies. But I'm going to start right now with my two co-hosts for this evening. All right. Who wants to go first? Let's start with Jake. Jake, do you have a favorite horror movie / TV show? And do you like the genre at all?
Yes, I do. And I love it when it's, I don't know if you guys watched Sleepy Hollow at all when it was.
Oh, yeah.
So like that series, I love shows that are about history, but also tie the occult kind of into it, where it's like, like we were talking about The Mummy, or you guys were talking about The Mummy the other day. And that kind of thing where there's like the history aspect and the horror aspect, where it's like, it's an awesome story about something that's borderline historically accurate, right? So even like National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, not really a
Nick Cage.
It's not really a horror movie, or a show, but it's like there's a spooky element to it. I like that kind of thing where there's an ominous feel flowing throughout the whole thing. And the movie, The Number 23 with Jim Carrey, is my psychological favorite as far as that goes. And his acting in that show was amazing, in my opinion.
Dude, and also like him, like he doesn't play roles like that, but like, and especially dramatic stuff. And he was killer in that. He was great. And I don't understand why he doesn't do more because of that. He just didn't. Now he's retired, so we're probably not gonna get much more out of him as it is. So unless someone lures him back, he's retired. He retired after he finished being Dr. Robotnik. He said, "I'm done." He made an official statement.
Of people retiring, like, just stop it. You're going to do another movie at some point when you run out of money. I mean, let's be realistic. Just stop. He retired.
I know. But that whole movie, Jake.
Go ahead.
What are you saying, Sabrina? No. Go ahead. Get it. No, come on.
I'm just really annoyed that he said he retired. Like that's like
that, but there's no point saying it.
I know, but they all come back. Every time. Daniel Day-Lewis retired, he came back. Martin Short retired, he came back. Like people, like you retire and then you realize it's a stupid idea because that's what you do and that's what makes you happy, and then you come back, or you run out of money and you come back. It doesn't make you happy. You're like, oh, I got to make a movie because I need to support myself.
Tired of getting commercial offers, and they're like, okay, I got to do another movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Also, why make that announcement? What's the point?
I don't know. And he also, Jim Carrey, though, you're going to retire after being Dr. Robotnik on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's your big swan song.
Yeah,
seriously. Like, to me, it's like, it doesn't make as much sense. Like now, if someone says like they won an Oscar for something, that makes more sense. Like I want
like
an Oscar.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, I'm 90 years old. I think it's time for me to step down. Something like that. But as an actor,
you don't have to say it. Just do it. How about that?
Yeah.
Just don't make movies. Like, don't be like, I'm retired. It's just ridiculous. In my opinion.
But as an actor, Sabrina, you never really retire. I mean, people try to, but you always, something can lure you back. And also, why not?
That's why you shouldn't say you retire.
Yeah. And you just step away. Just step away and don't say anything. And then when something perks your interest again and brings you back into the field, then come back. That's what I think.
Don't understand the point of saying that. Like, do you not want people to think that like you're not getting offers and like everyone's like, oh, where Jim Carrey hasn't made a movie in a really long time? Oh, he must have fell. Something must have happened. Like, are you trying to quell that? Like, do you give a shit that much about what people think? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Just don't make movies anymore if you don't want to. And then when you feel like doing it again, because you will, then you come back. Like, that's it. It doesn't make any sense to me to announce a retirement. Like, what do you want, a card?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. It's insane.
For social
and he's also very young, I'm sorry, Jake, what did you say?
I was just wondering if he was even eligible for Social Security yet. Like, is that
That's what I mean. Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
does he need
Yeah.
it? He probably doesn't need it, but it's
He probably doesn't need it. He's probably, I mean, he was in that group that for a long time, that was like the $20 million group, which happened for a while in film, but then it kind of went away now. But when there were actual like big movie stars before social media and everything else, where people were actually movie stars, where you only saw them in those movies and they were like this mystery, they were paying the big bucks for people, you know, that it was a big $20 million club. So I guarantee he's fine for money. He did that show Kidding, which I was surprised he did that, but he was really good in that too. Again, that was a drama.
Mm.
And it was the same creator director of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, another great
One of
movie
my
that he
favorite
did.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
great drama.
yeah.
He can do it. I wish he would end on a drama, or he could end on Ace Ventura 3.
That'd
Be fine with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they did that what was it? They did they did Dumb and Dumber 2. I remember afterwards, which it was all right. You know, it was fun to see him back. There wasn't blockbuster movie. I remember after that he said that he would like to do another one, a third one, maybe when they're in their 80s, which I think would be awesome, you know?
Right. Yeah, it'd be like,
well, he retired, so sorry, you won't be able to do
might
that.
not be
since you're
happening. Might not be
retired.
happening.
oh,
But the
My
number
bad.
23, the number 23 is a great choice, though, Jake. I really think it is. It's a good movie. It showcases a different side of his performance, and something else that you don't really think of. Jim Carrey. It's creepy. It's all based off that number 23 keeps popping up everywhere, and it's really good. And I think he's like a detective in that or something too, right?
he started out
Yeah.
kind of, well, he was kind of investigating himself, I think, towards the end of it. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've sat down and watched it, but yeah,
It's a good choice.
that style and like that's the one that sticks out in my mind if I had to pick one. But that
Cool.
style of psychological, you know,
I like it. Yeah, it's good. It's psychological. It's thriller. It's not just gory stuff, which I lean towards a lot too. I do watch the gory stuff, but I think I always lean towards the psychological thrillers. Sabrina, you hear this? What is your favorite
I kind
horror
of feel
movie?
like that's not really a horror movie. It's more of, like you said, a psychological thriller.
Well,
like if you're talking
it's
about like
Friday the
Seven
13th.
and Primal Fear and like, you know, movies like that, those are psychological thrillers, but that's not really a horror movie. Like what's your favorite horror movie?
Horror movie, Bubba Hotep.
I love that movie.
That scared me.
You could classify that as a horror movie. I think. I mean, Bubba Hotep's killing.
Isn't
Killing all
that
these
Adam
people.
Sandler?
No, that's the Bruce Campbell movie.
Yeah,
And then the guy's like, "I'm JFK.
Oh.
Got a little bag of sand in my head."
I was writing notes on the shithouse walls, like messages on the. It was scary. I got scared.
It was scary.
Yeah, it made me nervous. The music in it
Okay.
was great, though.
It was
I'll
creepy.
accept
And
that.
Bruce Campbell, speaking of Elvis, talk about Elvis the other day because, you know, Austin Butler won the award for Elvis. Well, I think Bruce Campbell gave him a run for his money. Let me tell you that.
He was.
Because Bruce Campbell was a great Elvis in that movie.
He was.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
Bubba Hotep. Will you accept that,
guess that's
Sabrina? Will
okay. Yes,
will you
I
accept
will.
that one? Yes.
Yes.
All right, Sabrina, what about you? Horror movie. What do you got for Friday the 13th? You got any ideas? What's your favorite kind of horror, spooky thriller?
My favorite horror movie is definitely The Shining, by far, above and beyond. It terrified
choice.
me when I saw it. Those twins, like anytime I see twins, I get terrified. Like even if they're having a good time and playing on a jungle gym or something, like twins freak me out forever from that movie. And there is so many, like when I don't know, when I get scared, I like have flashes of that movie for some reason. It really, really scared me. And I've watched it a million times. And like, so now, you know, I don't get scared as much when I'm watching it anymore because I've seen it a million times, but like it still holds up to this day. There's nothing I would change about it. Kubrick did an amazing job. Jack Nicholson did an amazing job. Shelley Duvall did an amazing, it was just epic. The corn maze at the end, it was just so good in my opinion. And there's nothing that could touch it in the horror world for me.
Yeah. Jake, you've seen that before, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did
But
you see
Bubba
the,
Hotep is your favorite horror movie?
Yes.
he's thinking about it. And I
was
even
what,
like
is he frozen?
No,
he was thinking about it.
I was thinking hard. I don't know. The Shining is really good. I'm not gonna say that it's not a great movie, but as far as like the overall entertainment factor, I think Bubba Hotep was. Well, it depends. Are you talking about just like I want to get behind the couch? and not watch this anymore kind of scary, then I don't know if I ran into anything like that before. So
yeah. Hi, the ring didn't scare you and make you jump behind something?
no, but the one that did was The Grudge, which was a terrible movie. But
Oh, I never saw The Grudge.
The Grudge.
Me neither.
There,
Oh, The Grudge. Yes, that was super creepy.
yeah, there was that sound that it made. It was just like this weird sound. That one creeped me out, but it didn't I didn't hide from it.
The Ring also was super creepy.
Yeah,
That
super
scared the
creepy.
shit out of me.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
creepy stuff. Like the things that you think about the next day, where you're like, "Woof,"
Yeah. Well, back when we used to have I mean, people still have phones in their house, but back when everybody used to have a landline, I remember when I was a younger kid after watching The Ring, and the phone would ring afterwards, and I'd be like, don't answer that phone. Yeah, 7 days. And then I still play jokes on people when it's 7 days before their wedding, I call them and say 7 days. I think I did it to you, Jake, too, before you got married. I think I called you and said 7 days.
hung up on me, and I was like, "Yeah."
That's not creepy at all.
Right?
But
Yeah.
it didn't click until just now that that's what you were doing. I just kind of thought, "Well, Brian's lost it. Okay, cool. I'll talk to him later."
COVID did not fare well with Brian.
Right.
No, it did not.
So
There's a lot of good horror movies. Yeah. There's a lot of good horror movies out there. I guess for me too, it's when you look at all these different movies, for me, I'd still love The Evil Dead, even though it's horror comedy. That's still one of my favorite ones. Army of Darkness or Evil Dead 2, probably more because that is more of the horror aspect. But I also love the Conjuring movies. Those are a lot of fun. And
Really
they
good.
definitely can be super creepy, but yet there's the whole detective thing too. And you're actually trying to figure out it's they're trying to figure out is it real? Is it not real? That's fun. The Saw movies, if you're looking at something that's super gross, that would be something that I would lean towards as my gross horror, because
first
I mean,
one.
honestly, yeah, the first one
First one.
especially.
Yeah.
I watched them all. They're my guilty pleasure. I've seen them all. We talked about there's a Saw 10 coming out in October. So they're bringing it back again. Yeah,
Wow.
If you didn't know that, Jake, Saw 10's coming in October. And they will never stop with those movies. And I liked how they got connected at one point. But then they're also, it's just, mindless, just gore. The traps could be interesting sometimes, which I think was fun. And The Thing, I guess, is The Thing a horror movie? Because I think that's really cool too. It's a fun one going back in time. But that's Friday the 13th, and even the OG Friday the 13th, the Freddy movies, Halloween. I was never a huge fan of those. I remember when I was a kid, my brother used to put this pillowcase on me before I go to sleep on my pillow, and it was Freddy on there with his fingers, and it said Friday the 13th. Not creepy or anything. I tried to get rid of that pillowcase so many times, and he kept putting it on my pillowcase, just creeping me out as a kid. And thank you so much, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure, Kyle.
But so they never been a big thing for me, but I'd still watch them. The reboot of Freddy was okay. The Halloween ones, the new ones, haven't been that great, I don't think. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I still don't think they've hit the mark they could have, especially this last one.
Halloween is probably my favorite franchise. If you were gonna pick one of those 3 from that area of time, Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, I definitely would go with Halloween for sure.
Yeah. But it's Friday the 13th, everybody. What do you think? What's your favorite horror movie? Do you have something that stands out? Is there something you're like, this is it? Leave some comments, let us know, and we'll talk about that more, because it's Friday the 13th.